All right, this is the last 4 questions of this worksheet. So here we go. We will just plow right through them. So we've got Lulus, which is a department store selling a CD player for 435 reals, which is a 27% markup from the base price. Okay, how much did they pay for the CD player? So you should recognize that because of the 27% markup, this is a percent change problem. So the change in percent is 27%. Now, the original cost I need, and I need the final. All right, so the original cost is what they paid for it. We don't know what that is. So X is the original cost. Okay, so there I've defined my variable. Now the final cost is 435 because that's how much they charge after the 27% markup. That's how they make their money, right? They buy it for some amount of money and then they sell it for a little bit more. So here we go. We'll go final minus initial over the initial or original equals the percent over 100. So we'll go 435 minus X over X equals 27 over 100. Now, you may remember the previous questions in this assignment all had a positive 27, or sorry, a negative 27 there. That's because before this, they were usually reductions. In this case, we have gained cost. It's been increased, and so therefore your percent change needs to be positive, showing a positive change. All right, so from here we should be able to cross multiply. We'll have 27x equals 100 times 435 minus x. From there, we will distribute, which will be 43500 minus 100x. We move it to the other side. We now have 127x because I added 100x to both sides. And then I've got 43500, and I am sorry, I'm good at math, but I have absolutely no idea what happens when I take 43500 and divide it by 127. I guess I could do it longhand, but why in the world would I do that when I got this fancy dancy calculator? So 127, and I push equals, and I get 342.5. So x equals 342.5, and this is in Qatari Riyals. So there you go, 342.5 Qatari Riyals is approximately how much they paid for the CD player. Not so bad. All right, let's go ahead and look at the next one. Grocery prices are expected to rise 4% over the next year. If a family currently spends 500 Riyals per week, how much can they expect to spend next year? Okay, so again, we have a rise of 4%. That is a change in the percent, which is therefore 4%. Okay, the original, we're talking about how much money the family is spending. Currently, originally, they spend 500. Finally, well, that's next year, and so that's what we don't know. So x equals next year's groceries. All right, so now we can set up our formula. Final minus initial over the initial equals percent change over 100. Now remember, this is not a magical formula. I don't want you to get stuck in the fact that you just use the same formula every time. Recognize that this is just a proportion. It is the change in the values over the original value, and then it's the change in the percent over the original percent. So this is organized just the same way as all your other proportions. We've got a change on the top, and we've got a original on the bottom, and then we've got the values here, and we've got the percents here. And so this is, please note that this is the same as everything else we're doing. I don't want you to create a new box in your brain for a new type of problem when it's really not. It's the same thing. If you know how to get a change, you know that it's final minus original. And so you should be able to set this up even without a magical formula. So let's go ahead and put them in. We'll go final minus original over the original equals the percent change over 100. We cross multiply, we get 2,000 right there, equals, and then 100 times x minus 500. You can put the x minus 500 first and the 100 after. It doesn't matter. mathematically it's multiplication, so it'll be the same thing either way. So I've got 2,000 equals 100x minus, and then 500 times 100 will be 50000. I will add, because this is minus 50,000, so I'll add 50,000. So that will give me a total of 52,000 on this side equals 100x. Divide both sides by 100, and we get 520 equals x. Now this is in Qatar Riyal still, and that is the amount that they would expect to pay. I've defined that right there. So x is the amount they would expect to pay for next year's groceries. All right, let's go on to number 11. If Billy Bob in number 8, now so this is going to be important, so I'm going to go back to number 8 really quickly. The final average was 62.9. All right, so 62.9 was the overall term average. Okay, he needs a 70% to go on to geometry. So the question is, what grade will he need on his semester exam to achieve this? Okay, well, semester exams are 25% and the term grade is 75%. This should point you towards the fact, oh, this is a weighted average, because these things, the final grade and the term grade, need to have different weights. They need to be counted more or less importantly than each other. And so if you want, you can set up your chart. Okay, we've got the final grade. This really is just a mixture, right? We are mixing together the final grade and the term grade. That is an R, by the way. We've mixed together the final grade and the term grade, and we get our semester average, right? So it is a mixture. It's just like all the other mixture problems where you're mixing peanuts or cookies or candy or chemicals or whatever else it may be. It's still just a mixture. So these two are getting mixed together and resulting in that. In the previous question, we took the concept checks, the quizzes, and the celebration tests, and we put those all together to get the term grade. All right, so my final grade on the exam, now by this I mean the exam, okay, final exam, that's what it's asking for. It says, what grade will he need on the semester exam? So the final exam, that's what we don't know. X equals grade on semester exam. Okay, that's what the question is asking for. That's what my variable should be. All right, the term grade was 62.9. Now here we've got that we have a 25% weight for the final exam, and then the term grade is 75%. All right, and so the total weight, if we put those two weights together, will be 100%. So we're going to go x times 25 plus 62.9, just like I would with any other weighted average, and then I need to divide by the total weight, equals my semester average. Now this, he needs a 70%, so that's the question. What does he need on the semester exam to get that 70%? So semester needs to be 70, so let's make it 70. So from here, you should be able to solve for x. We're going to multiply both sides by 100. So we've got 25x, which is x times 25, plus, sorry, I don't know that, so 62.9, 62.9 times 75. So that is 4717.5 equals 7000, because 70 times 100 is 7,000. All right, so we're going to subtract the 4717.5, which will give me 25x equals, so let's go 7,000 minus what we had before, which will be 2282.5. Divide both sides by, oops, wrong calculator. Divide both sides by 25. And we get a 91.3. So that is, remember X was the grade on the final exam, and so he needs a 91.3% on the final exam. Now you start to recognize how difficult it is to get from a D or a D minus up to a C. Therefore, do not be happy with a D, be happy with a C or a B even. That way when you get to the end of the semester, you're not relying so much on that semester exam, because if you do, it's incredibly high and incredibly difficult, especially if you only understand 63% of the material. So here we go, lesson in a lesson. Let's go on to our last one, which is number 12. Aya is making cookies for her algebra class. The recipe says you need 1 cup of milk for 8 large cookies. Sounds like a ratio to me. So here we go. Let's create our ratio. We need 1 cup of milk for every 8 cookies. So milk is in cups, and cookies is just the number of cookies. So she needs 28 cookies. Okay, so I'm going to put that on the bottom because cookies need to stay consistent. So this is my original recipe. This is what we need. We need 28 cookies. And so therefore, X is how much milk, which is what the question is asking. Cups of milk needed. Okay, we solve. We got 8x equals 28. We take both sides and divide it by 8, so 28 about 28 instead of 82. We'll divide both sides by 8, and we get 3½ cups. Again, I put the units on there. I said the units here, though I didn't write them down, 91.3%. There you go. That's question number 12. You are done with the assignment. I hope this has been helpful. Get to work.